Alright, so I do love talking about nostalgia. So the last video that I probably made like a while ago was me talking about my fears and like scary moments that I saw in media. This time I'm going to be talking about something more, I guess, tame. Childhood snacks. I'm just going to be talking about the ones that I do remember a lot or just loved as a kid. Here are some honorable mentions that I would have mentioned, but I forgot to talk or just don't feel like talking as much as these other ones. It'll be different for me because, see, I'm a kid who was born in '06, and a lot of people who would talk about nostalgic snacks are probably like born in the late 90s, really early 2000s. And I was a kid who pretty much grew up during the late 2000s to the early 2010s. So yeah, it'll be very different, and don't judge me for what I had and whatnot. Look, as a kid, I focused on specific stuff as well. But yeah, so if you have the same exact interests or like favorite things that I had when I was younger, I guess comment down below. And I guess if you want to, subscribe. If you want, like I said. Of course, when I was a kid, I grew up with these cereals like Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, or Honey Nut Cheerios, whatever. These are classics. Everyone probably grew up with these. But there's this one cereal that I'll always love as a kid called S'mores, which is just, as the name suggests, is a s'mores cereal with graham cracker chocolate puffy bits with marshmallow bits in it to emulate the s'mores flavor. And these came out around 2003, and for some reason this cereal has a weird release history, as it would always get discontinued and then come back, and then it would get discontinued again and come back. Now this cereal is really fun to look at, and seeing the milk mixed with the puffy bits turning into chocolate like with Cocoa Pebbles. This cereal got pulled a bunch of times just because it had high sugar content, and also, I mean, it was like this for like most candies and snacks from the past, as these had like a lot of questionable ingredients or just high sugar content. So I guess I can understand why it got pulled 2 times, but I guess the new formula now is a bit healthier, safer, I don't know. I would always see this cereal pop up at Stop and Shop. Now, me going to a Stop and Shop now, I don't see it, even though they say it's not discontinued, so I don't know where this is being sold. I'd say it's probably one of my most favorite cereals. Now, I know there's all other s'more cereals that exist that are probably better, but I'll always remember this just because of the nostalgia I had when I was younger. It's a good cereal, come on. Now, another cereal I'll also mention that I did miss as a kid was Cinnamon Jacks, which was pretty much just Applejack, but you get rid of the apple bits, Apple Jacks. And the only mascot for this was the Cinnamon guy, who was pretty chill. And I don't like how they look now. They look ugly. They were pretty much cereal shaped like Jacks, and they had a brown sugar and cinnamon flavor, which was really good. Better than Apple Jacks, I'll say. So this cereal came out in 2013, and I'm pretty sure it didn't really last that long, probably like 2 or so years. I'll also mention this because it's also cereal themed. Trix Yogurt, another snack that I also loved as a kid. I remember those like little spoons that it came with, where it had like where you could just swirl the yogurt and create fun swirls. It was fun. My favorite flavor was probably the strawberry banana one. That one was my most favorite. Now, I remember at a time back then they got rid of it, and now it's back. Though they don't come with the spoons, but hey, it's still back at least. It's cool to see them. Another yogurt that I'll also shout out to is Danonino, which is these small yogurt packets that were aimed at kids. These were fun. They were also good to have when I was a kid. Now, I would remember always putting like sticks or spoons on top of the yogurt packet just so I could make popsicles. That's what I remember mostly from these yogurts. Another yogurt treat that I do remember as a kid were these Danimals. I also remember these Crush Cups They were really fun to like mess around with, and you didn't need a spoon for these. It was also fun to just freeze the crush cup as well. They also made these crunchers, which are pretty much like those Oreo M&M yogurt snacks you probably see at the grocery shop. But these were just chocolate graham bits along with strawberry yogurt, and the mix was really good. Danimals back then knew what they were making. But the only Danimal products I see are the smoothie things, which aren't that bad, and just the plain generic yogurts, which you could grab from your spoon or whatever, and the sippy cup. I guess a lot of people would know about this, but I have always been a fan of Mario. I grew up during the Wii, the DS, and also the Wii U era, and played a lot of the games. My favorite games being Mario Galaxy 2, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and also 3D World. Back when I was younger, I also remember seeing these candies pop up, the Mario 3D's gummies. Gummies that are shaped like Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong, first appearing around the Game Boy Advance era, as shown by these images. I grew up with the blue packaging that is shown right here. The ones with the old Mario logo and with all the Wii era renders. Now I would always remember seeing these around Walmart's, Target's, Toys R Us, and even Blockbuster. All these gummies had a glossy look and had 4 flavors: strawberry, orange mixed berries, being watermelon. Unfortunately, around 2016 or 2017 they were discontinued. Now the company behind the candy, Awesome Candies, are probably not around anymore, which is why they were gone. Now they've also made other candies, not just the 3D gummies. They also made these yo-yo candies, bob-ombs, jelly pops, which look really, really wrong. These weird, like, collect candies, and bubblegum containers. Now I had one of these bubblegum containers which had a figurine of Mario on top of it, and they're really cool. And I also remember when they made these like Wii-shaped containers. I lost it somewhere. Now other candies that I would also remember around this time were the Mario coin block candies and the mushroom tin candies, which I feel like everyone has probably had before, or majority I'd say, which are still available nowadays. They're just chalky, like, weird candies in these tins. Now the coin blocks don't really have a certain flavor, they're just, I guess, Tutti Frutti or something, I don't remember. And mushroom ones come in sour cherry and sour green apple. There was also a blue raspberry one, but it's gone. And another thing that also existed were the fruit snacks made by Kellogg's, which I grew up with the blue packaging. Now the snacks of the fruit gummies are different compared to what they were before, but whatever. Now speaking of fruit snacks, another fruit snack like candy that I could remember from the top of my head that I grew up with are these Angry Birds fruit gummies. So these gummies came out at around the time when the original Angry Birds app was at its hype. So around like 2012, all these boxes would have a different bird in front of the box. So from what I remember, there was like 4 variations of these gummies in like different, well, there was like different sets of these. The first set, which had the original Angry Birds cast, like Red, Chuck, Blue, the Pig, Bomb, and Terrence. There was also Angry Birds Space, but it was pretty much the same as the first set. The second set of gummies had different birds. Well, there was still Red and also Bomb. We also saw Hal, Bubbles, Matilda, and Stella. And there was another one, but this time it was based off of the Star Wars Angry Birds game, which had Red, Stella, Chuck, Terrence, the C-3PO bird in R2, and also the Darth Vader pig. Now, from all the sets that came out, my favorite probably has to be the second set, which had Bubbles and Hal, which were my favorite characters from Angry Birds. And they had even more unique flavors than the original ones, although the first set is pretty cool. Also, while researching, I just noticed that there was more Angry Birds candies around this time. I remember these ads which had these Angry Birds gummies by a company named Phaser, something like that. And the commercial for this was so cool. It was like hyping up the release of it. They were playing around with the gummies. It was so fun to see it. If only they came out in the United States, but I never saw these around where I was. There was also these exploding candies which looked cool. That reminded me of something. I remember a long time ago when there was also Candy Crush candy. It looked cool, but I never saw them in stores. Well, probably once, but I never thought about buying it because I was more into Angry Birds. But it's kind of cool how some mobile games back then also had merchandise and all that. But sometime to the mid to late 2010s, I guess 2017 or so, they got discontinued. Of course these would get discontinued because the Angry Birds franchise was falling off after the movies, and because the games wasn't really that relevant anymore, and a lot of people were moving on to other mobile games. So yeah, it was an unfortunate fate for the gummies. Now, funny story, I remember one time I was at a local mall and going around the food court, and there was a convenience store nearby, and in that convenience store I saw a box filled with these small baggies of Angry Birds fruit snacks. So I bought one for $1, or was it 50 cents, I don't remember, and I went back home to open the baggie of gummies to see absolutely no birds. It was probably just weird gummies mixed in with other gummies or whatnot, and they just had Angry Birds packaging, and they just slapped. I don't really know what happened behind the scenes. I'm sad to see this. Okay, for me talking about this whole list of snacks that I remember, you can tell I had a sweet tooth. Gummies, cereals, all that. I was pretty much a kid who loved anything with sugar. So any candies, I loved candies as a kid, and I still do. I wonder why I look like this. But I'm also a fan of chewing gum, which is also, I don't know, I guess it's just enjoyable to chew the flavor and all that. But what I'm trying to say about the gum is that there's this one gum in particular that I will always love and will always take over any. Boobaloo, which is a gum originating from Latin America and came out during the 1980s. Now, I would always remember picking these up at a local convenience store, even though there was only two flavors, which was Tutti Frutti and strawberry. But these came in a wide range of flavors that I would come to try years after, and oh man, I wish I actually tried most of these, because these are really good. So they're just gum with a liquid center, so once you chew the gum, out comes the liquid of whatever flavor it is, like strawberry, and it was really good. Hello everybody, so this is gonna be a short mini snack review, not really, but whatever. These Bubaloos, I actually have two of them, damn it. The strawberry one. Alright, here's Tutti Frutti. As a kid, I grew up with both Tutti Frutti and strawberry. Yeah, there was other ones like grape, mint, banana, and others that were in stores later on, which I tried, and they're really good. So this is what a normal Boobaloo looks like. Alright, I'm gonna do this inside. Alright, I tried to cut it open just so I could get the cross section, but there's a little bit of the jelly coming from both sides. Again, it's not any ordinary jellies. Oh, it's oozing. Unfortunately, my dumbass self couldn't get the audio in this clip. The whole thing is muted. So let me try to briefly explain what I was saying in this clip. From what I remember, I pretty much said that Tutti Frutti is basically that one pink generic flavor bubblegum flavor, whatever. Double Bubble, that yellow wrapper gum, and Hubba Bubba. But it's more sweeter, and with the liquid, it gives it more flavor. Honestly, you can't go wrong with Tutti Frutti. It's a really good flavor. Now, unfortunately, the flavor does go away within 1 or 2 minutes. This flavor is pretty much a classic. You can't go wrong with Tutti Frutti after all. Back to my makeshift cutting board, here it is. This time you don't see like the little white powdery things that they put in gum. Ooh! Like a zit. Oh wow, that's actually... Look at that gush. Oh, it's only from one side though. Look, of course it's gonna have like a better smell just because it's strawberry, and Tutti Frutti's like a little basic. Look at that little jelly coming out. Ooh. Yeah, this one's the winner. This one's way better. Alright. If it was me back then, I would have liked the Tutti Frutti one, because I was basic back then. And I always liked that flavor a lot. But the strawberry one is better for me. If I were to choose one of these two, strawberry's the better one. Strawberry, I'm just gonna say it. Strawberry is probably one of the best flavors out there, alongside watermelon and cherry. Like Red 40 flavored things, or whatever those things, they're like the best. Even though I could die from those. But either way, it's good gum. If you ever find this at like any store, convenience store and whatnot, buy it. Buy it. You need to buy one. It's an experience. It's like one of the best gums out there. Now the thing with these, at least these aren't discontinued, because they're still popular. You can still find these at like stores that carry Mexican or Latin American products. But another gum that I'll also talk about, which is discontinued, is dried gum, which came in a lot of flavors. Though my favorite being mystery. That was the one that I really cared about, just because it had a really cool packaging. And I don't remember what it really tasted like. It was probably just Tutti Frutti as well. But these were really fun to look at, and the whole like style of it was really fun. Now these came out in 2006, so pretty much the year I was born. But for some reason when I look it up, it says they were discontinued 2024. Though I never really saw these in stores after like the mid 2010s. Now it's probably because they were also discontinued in other countries, but it's a shame. We could have saw these. I could have saw these here. Like, I really missed the mystery flavored gum. It was awesome to chew. Though maybe one day it'll come back, hopefully. Now, one of my most favorite snacks as a kid was popsicles. Just the array of flavors you could have, and all the fun shapes that come with it. It's pretty fun, and it's also a cold snack, and I do like cold snacks as well. Well, frozen, well, whatever. Going to the freezer sections nowadays, it's kind of sad, because all I see is like generic ones, and there is some fun ones here and there, but not like the ones that I remember as a kid. Now back then, the popsicle selection had a lot of stuff going on. There was not just like 3 or 5 boxes or whatnot. There were like 10 or 20. I don't remember. There was a lot, especially from the brand Popsicle, which is, you know, the yellow boxes. Now I remember there being a lot of these like licensed popsicle stuff going around. Now from the ones that I remember, the Scribblers was one of my favorites. They still exist. They were just popsicle shaped crayons. They were and they had really good fruity flavors. There was also the rainbow ones, which don't exist for some reason, which came in an array of flavors of lemon, blue raspberry, strawberry, watermelon. Now these were really good. From what I remember, my favorite flavor was probably watermelon, because I do love watermelon flavored things. There was also these Airheads popsicles, which were also interesting to see. Now back then, there was a lot of candy popsicle flavored stuff, like the Sour Patch Kids ones. There's also these yogurt ones, which were pretty unique to taste. Now another thing, now for the licensing stuff, I do remember these Marvel ones, and also the SpongeBob push-ups, which were pretty fun. What sucks about the SpongeBob one was that they did have these old designs with like the pineapple and stars, but then years after, they changed it to this generic like swirl one, which, I mean, it's cool, but the older designs were much fun and more like on brand. Now a popsicle that I remember from the grocery store that wasn't from the Popsicle brand were these Peel-A-Pops by Wonka, which came in 2 flavors, banana and grape, which had vanilla ice cream inside. Well, as the name suggests, you peel off these gummy skins to get the ice cream on the inside. And My god, these were fun to just fool around with. They were really good. The gummy texture of the skin and the ice cream was vanilla ice cream. It's really fun. Now these came out in 2013 and didn't really last that long, only about a year. And it sucked because these are actually really good. They actually had something like gimmicky going on. It was something that you don't really see much in ice cream sections nowadays. There's these peeling candies at Five Below that remind me of those Peel-A-Pops, especially the banana one. I mean, considering there is a banana flavored Peel-A-Pop back then. Of course, I got them just because of like the nostalgia I got from the Peel-A-Pops. So I guess that's something to reminiscent about or something like that, I guess. Now, not only did grocery stores have good popsicles, but also the ice cream truck. Hearing the music was just very magical. Nowadays, I don't really go to ice cream trucks that much, or nor do I really see them, but if I ever see one, I guess I could pick up like a cone. But back then, I would always get the gumball-eyed popsicles, especially the SpongeBob one, which was like one of the best ones, I'd say. Nowadays, it sucks because, yeah, they don't have the gumball eyes, but there's also the Sonic one, which is also fun, and also goofy looking. Some others that I also remember as a kid picking up was the TMNT ones, and the Spider-Man one, which also doesn't have gumball eyes for some reason. Now, there were some other ones that I also remember seeing and like picking up, like the Shrek one, the Powerpuff Girls ones, the Looney Tunes ones, and for some reason, I remember as a kid picking up the Pink Panther one just because it was Pink Panther. And I was a fan of the Pink Panther and Pal show, so anyone else who likes that show, you get a W. And there's also the Penguins of Madagascar one, which was interesting. I'd expect, I don't know, Alex or Marty, but I mean, it's private, he's cool. Nowadays, I don't really see a lot of these. I'm pretty sure from what I remember, there is some trucks that carry the popsicle gumball-eyed stuff. The one I remember seeing nowadays is this Kung Fu Panda one, but I'm pretty sure it's not as appealing as it was back then, because back then there were a lot, and I say a lot, of licensed characters shaped as popsicles from cartoons and games and comics. It was fun to see all these, but nowadays it's just they're all gone. If only there was a way to get these back, but I'm not sure what these brands would do. So yeah, that was pretty much a lot that I could talk about. I didn't want to talk way too much, or I'll probably like mess up the storage in my freaking devices and whatnot, and it'll take a while to edit all these. But either way, talking about all these snacks was pretty fun, and I really hope some of these companies bring these back like a throwback in a way. I doubt it, but it'd still be cool to see these like return in one way or another, but who knows? Companies don't really care, they just want to do cash grabs or like generic stuff or whatnot. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment, I guess, and have a good day. Take care. DonutsWay out.